Warning, Hebrews Toys Reviews is not intended for children. It is for adult collectors and the people over the age of 18. Hello everybody, Hebrew77 here, and oh, the lighting's just not right. And this is my Galoob Mr. T action figure review. This was all a part of the A-Team collection, but I decided not to review the collection as a whole. I took this was done, I don't know, a couple years ago. But anyway, it's an older video, so please excuse the crudeness of it, and I'll see you next time. And now on with the review. Hello everybody, Hebrew77 here with yet another video review. Action figure review this time. You see I'm wearing the same shirt from the last video. Sometimes I make 4 or 5 of these in one day. So now, let's get down to the review. Here's what we're going to review for today. Here's what we're reviewing, the 1984 Mr. T from, I believe, Galoob. Yeah, from Galoob. And there's not too many points of articulation with this figure, so bear with me here. Also, as you can see, the screen is totally kind of dark. I do like this version of Mr. T more than any of them. Of course, this is the one that came with the A-Team. He's got the gold chains, and it looks like he's got a blue vest, blue denim vest with little orange. You can kind of see the orange things here on the side. Well, maybe you can. I don't know. It's kind of dark. His points of articulation. You can bend his legs a little bit. His knees bend somewhat. As you can see there, I don't know if those are about 50 degrees, I guess. And he can bend that knee. This feature wears out very quickly, though. As you can tell, the legs are already starting to get loose. I mean, this action figure is about 30 years old, and he had a tattoo on his, let's see, I'm left-handed, so that would be the left arm, I guess. The right arm, on his right arm, on his right shoulder, you can see there, maybe you can't. But anyway, there's a tattoo right here, and it's kind of faded. Man, I don't know where my lighting is, but it's faded on that arm, and he's got earrings, but they're painted the same color as his skin, so you really can't see them. And as I said before, this is very dark. You can see he has a mouth there. It looks like they did almost like a purplish look to his mouth, because I guess red, even dark red, would have made it look like he was wearing lipstick. And let's see, let's get a close-up. Camera's over here. The close-up, you really can't see it unless I put some light on it, which unfortunately the light I have right now is not working. I should be able to put light on this camera, though. I'll do that in my next review. So anyway, yeah, he's a really dark Mr. T, and he's got the black pants with the orange cups there at the bottom of the pants, which suggests maybe he's wearing, like, I don't know, some kind of, these are probably the socks. The socks come up, they're white at the bottom, top orange. Although to me they don't really look like they're part of the socks, but they've got them in the same material. You can see the lines there on the top of the orange there for the socks. Those are, yeah, that's what those are supposed to be, part of the socks. Those are like, I don't know if you know about them, tube socks. We used to have those like in the 70s and 80s. And he's wearing what I believe are these kind of shoes, Converse. What's what's the name for them? These kind of shoes. But he's wearing those kind of shoes. But in the TV show, I don't think he wore those kind of shoes. It was Howling Mad Murdoch that had those shoes. They're Converse, but they're also called. Oh man, I can't think of it right now. Sorry, guys. My brain is froze. You can see the classic Mr. T mohawk on there. Now there was several different versions of Mr. T. There was a talking Mr. T that was about, I think he was about 12 inches tall. He could talk, and he had cloth material. I didn't have that one, however. I did have this one as a kid, and I think he's pretty neat. He's got the gold chains. He's got gold on his fingers there. He's got a gold chain bracelet on both arms. Maybe here, you see the arms real quick. He is probably one of my favorite action figures as a kid growing up. Him and well, I've got the entire A-Team. One of these days, I'll have to do a review with just the entire A-Team, including the A-Team band. These figures, each of these figures came with a little box of tools. I'm not quite particularly sure what tools he came with, but they came with a bag of tools and a backpack and maybe, I think, like a machine gun, which I have plenty of machine guns here. We can demonstrate. As you can see, he didn't have open hands. They had like little holes in the fist right there. So you could put just about like a machine gun, or you put a tool in there. Let's stand him up real quick. The thing I didn't like about these guys, and the same problem with the He-Man figures as well, is there's no holes in their feet, so you can't really peg them, give them stands of any kind. Let's see. He's standing there. Here, let's stand him here. There we go. That's better. Let me see if I got a gun in here that I can demonstrate on one of these guns. Like I said, he's just got the hole in his hand, so you'd have to put the, yeah, that's not going to fit. Ugh, no. But I do have some gun. I think the thinner, like this is a thicker machine gun with the barrel, or the stocks here, stock with the handle, the, I can't think today. Let's put this away. And let's get one with the skinnier stock. Let's see here. Maybe that will fit? Yeah, let's try this one. God, you can't fit none of these guns in my hand, sucker. I know it, Mr. T. Like, what in the hell's going on? I pity the fool that ain't got no gun for me. So anyway, you get the gist of things, but none of these G.I. Joe guns seem to fit his hand, except I have some, wait, what's this? No, let's see. I had some guns that I thought might do the trick, but I can't find them at this time. This might work. This little tiny, it's got a little tiny, like, stock or whatever, skinny, there we go. Yeah. Now I got a machine gun, he should say. Ho, ho, ho. Now I have a machine gun. But he wouldn't talk like that. He'd be like, I got a machine gun now, fool. Now what you gonna do? I actually have the black machine guns that have the little, what I used to call the A logo there at the top, where at the very top of the barrel, which was more or less like kind of like a sight. But I don't think anyone has ever used those ever as sights. They just point and shoot, basically. And that's what they do in the TV show as well. They just point and shoot. I got an actual, well, that's a little gun there. But yeah, I cannot find those skinny black guns I had that were like, oh, that one's got a scope on it. Um, hmm. I have them. Like, I have tons of them. I just can't find them. I wonder if they're in my G.I. Joe. Yeah, I bet there's some in my G.I. Joe case. These guns just aren't doing it. Give me a proper machine gun, fool! So we got. Anyway, that is my review of Mr. T, 1984 or 1985. Actually, this is 1983. So these, I guess, these figures all came out in different. Of course, they came out in different years because you had. I think you had set one, which set one was, of course, Mr. T, Helen Murdoch, the cast. Oh, and also at that time you had GI Joe size A-team figures. You had the 3 and 4 or the 3/4 inch um, A-team figures, which were also available. And there was 2 vans that was made, and there was one for the 3/4 inch A-team figures, and there was one for these kind of figures as well, bigger one. But the one for the 3/4 inch figures actually had a Mr. T sitting in the front in the driver's seat, which Mr. T did drive the van on the show. Most of the time, if not all, he was their driver. He was the fixer upper, the tuner. He could fix anything. He's the one that made all the crazy inventions that Colonel that I can't think today. Let's see, Colonel. We had Murdoch. We had Face Man, Mr. T, and Hannibal. We had okay. That but Hannibal would make the plans. He'd make all these crazy traps and stuff, and this guy would be the guy that did all the heavy lifting. He did all the work. He was the muscle of the A-team. You know, he could crash through doors and beat up all the guys. Like if they ever had like a fight with a bunch of guys and stuff, this would be their main man. B.A. Baracus was his name on the show. Of course, everyone always called them Mr. T when they would watch the show, and they had Mr. T cereal. So he became one of the most popular of the A-team because they didn't have A-team cereal that I recall of, and they had Mr. T cereal, Mr. T lunchboxes, Mr. T. Now, of course, another reasoning for that is because there was in the 80s briefly a Mr. T cartoon, and it was a Mr. T Adventures series. It was kind of like Scooby Doo, where he would go out with a bunch of teenagers or whatever, and they had a van and they would solve mysteries. And that was actually the basis of Mike Tyson's mystery team, or whatever they call them. As you might recall, they had a brief show of Mike Tyson's, I forget exactly what it was called, Mystery Squad or something like that, and it was on the Cartoon Network. It was actually, I think, a spoof of Mr. T. I pity the fool of anybody to do a ripoff of me. So he was, yeah, every cartoon like that came out after Scooby Doo, they basically kind of ripped off Scooby Doo. There was a bunch of Scooby Doo style cartoons back in the day. Um, there was a Globetrotters cartoon which was a spin-off of Scooby Doo. We will get into Scooby Doo stuff in another video, but I just wanted to mention briefly that yeah, there was a cartoon, there was a serial. And in fact, there's a clip of you can go check it out. I think it's on YouTube. Pee-wee's Big Adventure uh, was the very first Pee Wee Herman movie, and it was a Tim Burton. Tim Burton directed. It was, I think, it was maybe one of the very first directed Tim Burton movies. So who knows? But yeah, I think he did that one, and then Big Top Pee Wee and Big Top Pee Wee. No one really, it wasn't received very well. But yeah, in the Pee-wee's Big Adventure, he has this contraction that makes him all these nice, it comes down here. It's one of those like mousetrap contractions, you know, or like something that Doc Brown would invent, and it would crack an egg into the skillet, and then they had bacon. And so he had like bacon and eggs and whatever, and he had those all on his plate. And then he looks over and he's got a Mr. T cereal box, and he does the voice like, my pig fool doesn't eat my cereal. And then he pours cereal all over this like nice bacon and egg breakfast that his machine made for him. And then he just takes like a few bites of the Mr. T cereal. It just takes a few bites, and then that's it. He wipes his mouth, and he's done. So yeah, a whole bunch of wasted food. Thanks a lot, Pee-wee, teaching kids how to waste food. So that's basically it for this action figure review. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, watching. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up it if you like it, and check out the next one. Until next time, this is Hero77 coming at you saying good night and good luck.